Hello viewers, my name is Jackson Vickery and I am the head writer and creator at popculturedaily.guru. Um, this may be a different version of seeing me. I have never done a video-based review before, but I thought I would give it a try after a few times of watching other people review albums and singles online, and I just thought it was a cooler venue of possibly doing more things like this because I'm a broadcast journalism student and I've been getting really into the editing and broadcast world, and I thought I would give it a try. I still love writing and I will never stop writing reviews, but I thought maybe this time I would try something a little bit different. So for this week I am reviewing Madonna's Rebel Heart. So this is Madonna's 13th album, which is a little surprising just because a lot of artists from her day aren't really putting out albums anymore, just because they're starting to age and it isn't working as much. I mean, some of them are still touring and putting out a few things here and there, but putting out a 19-track album and then going on a tour to follow it really is something commendable that Madonna is doing, because like I said, not many people are doing it, and at the same time she's still competing and holding her ground with today's pop stars, because with this album she sold over 100,000 copies, and although it debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200, she's still doing incredibly well, and later in the year she's going on her tour for the album. So I really commend Madonna for staying strong to the music and always giving music to her fans. It definitely is staying in the current state of pop music. Like it's not going back in time and doing sort of a throwback thing. It really is an album that can compete with today's pop artists, not in the sense of a chart aspect, but in the sense of a production aspect. It definitely can compete. So with that being said, I mean, it's obvious that she's still relevant and she's still going. So it's very commendable, like I said before, that she's still going and she's still putting out these extremely well thought out and well produced albums. I'm not gonna say I'm a huge Madonna fan, because I definitely am not, just because she really isn't, she wasn't what I listened to when I was growing up. It just was never on in my house. But seeing the people that she works with today are definitely people that I still look at when they work with other artists. So it was very interesting to see who she worked with and how the whole process of this album really worked out, because it is very interesting. Now I am going to break down the tracks. There's a lot of them. There are 19, but there are definitely some great ones that I think that everyone should be looking out for. Not just die-hard Madonna fans, but really just music lovers in general, because they're really good tracks, and she's definitely holding strong. So here is the start of my review for Madonna's Rebel Heart, and it starts out with Living for Love, and I really, really like this song, and I think it's a great introduction to the album. It's definitely the most pop friendly on the album, um, and even though it really didn't do great at radio, I still think that it's a really great pop track. I think the lyrics are very well written, and I just think it's a great track, and it really sets the theme for what Madonna's trying to do with this album. So the next track is Devil Pray, and I absolutely love the production on this. It was done by Avicii, and it's just something else. Like, he's a very talented producer, and it's very evident with this song and other things that he does, but just wow. And the song definitely touches on some interesting topics, like she discusses sniffing glue and dropping acid. So yeah, it's very interesting, but great song production wise. The next song, Ghost Town, is the first slow song on the album, and for me personally, I absolutely love I love slow songs, and it's actually her next single, which I think there's a video in the works of being made right now, but yeah, it's her second single. It's really beautiful, and I think it's an interesting choice that she went with this one, because there are a lot of pop tracks on this, and there are a lot of interesting features on the album, but it's just very interesting that she picked this one as her second single. The next song is Unapologetic Bitch, and the song kind of speaks for itself. It really embodies who Madonna is. And after you hear the song, it's just she repeatedly says that she's an unapologetic bitch, and I mean, if it works for you, it works for you, and it's obviously working for Madonna, so I guess continue to be the unapologetic bitch. The next song is Illuminati, and when I heard that back in December, I definitely had I had to take a step back, because whenever someone mentions the Illuminati, it's just like, oh my gosh, the Illuminati. But she is talking about different stars like Beyonce and Jay-Z and Ariana Grande, and she's bringing out all of these really really relevant and important artists in our in today's pop culture, and she's definitely making a sort of a joke out of it, but it's just very interesting that she did a track called Illuminati. The next song is definitely one of my favorites, and I guess I'm a little partial to it just because it features Nicki Minaj, but it's called Bitch I'm Madonna. Now, they worked on a song, well, they worked on two songs actually on the last album, but one that specifically featured her, that was called I Don't Give a Fuck, and I absolutely love that song. So when I heard that they were collaborating again, I went crazy, and Nicki delivers like she has been for the longest time now. Whenever she gets on a beat, it is absolutely fantastic, and this isn't any different, and Madonna sounds great on it too. The next song is Hold Tight, and another favorite off the album. It's a slower one as well, and it's very beautiful, and this album is it covers a lot of different topics, but this one is very based on love, and it's just It's very pretty, and I really like it, and I definitely think that everyone should take a listen. The next one, continuing on with these beautiful songs, Joan of Arc. She is trying to get away from this idea that she's not as strong as Joan of Arc, and that she does have her weekdays, and I really love it. It's beautifully written. Once again, hitting these themes of like just really like Illuminati, Messiah, Joan of Arc. Like she's hitting it hard, and this song is no different. The next song, Iconic, features Chance the Rapper, and he is a up-and-coming rapper that a lot of people may not have heard of, but I definitely think that you will be hearing a lot of him, because he is doing some great music, and it's really evident on this track, and I think this song could be my favorite on the album, and I really hope that she releases it as a single, because I think it could bring a lot of attention to Chance, and I think if it was done correctly, I think it could actually do well on the charts. But once again, it is Madonna, so it's a little bit harder to it's harder to get her name at the top of it. I mean, she always does well on the dance charts, but when it comes to the actual Billboard Hot 100, she kind of falters a little bit. The next song is Heartbreak City, and it's another slower track, but it definitely isn't my favorite on the album when it comes to the slower ones. It is very pretty, and I like it, but I definitely don't like it as much as the other ones that I mentioned earlier. The next track is Body Shop, and that is a very interesting track. This was probably the most interesting track for me when I heard it, and I listened to it multiple times, because when you think of Body Shop, I thought it would be like more industrial and more hard hitting, but it has this very it just has a very interesting beat to it that I didn't expect, and that's why I think it's so interesting. And she's definitely breaking boundaries with it, and it's a really cool track, and I think you should listen to it. It may not be my favorite, but it's interesting enough to give it a second listen to. So the next song is Holy Water, and very interesting song, and I don't want to go too much into it, because it's she definitely puts a lot of sexual metaphors in there, and honestly I don't really like thinking of Madonna in that sort of way, just because she is almost 60 years old. The next song, Inside Out, it's another good song, definitely not one of my favorites. Towards the end of the album, I start to lose a little bit of interest, which, I mean, on most albums I do kind of, just because usually artists try to put their really good stuff at the beginning, but yeah, I wasn't crazy about it, but it is growing on me slowly. So the last song on the standard edition of the album is Wash All Over Me, and not one of my favorites, and I definitely wouldn't have ended the standard edition with that track. I mean, I just think there's a bunch of other ones that I think that would have been a lot more interesting. With the deluxe edition of the album, there's a few really good songs that I think could have replaced Wash All Over Me, but anyway, Best Night is the start of the deluxe edition, and wasn't my favorite, but it's okay. So, but the next song, Vini Vidi Vici, that song is very, very, very cool. It features Nas, and it's channeling Madonna's past, and it is very, very cool. And when it gets to Nas's verse, like, once again, I didn't grow up with Nas, but when I do hear him, it's just like, wow, he is extremely talented, and I can understand why people love him so much. And I thought it was really interesting because Madonna sort of brought the past, the present, and the future of rap sort of to the front on this album, because you have Nas being the past, you have Nicki Minaj sort of being the present, and you have Chance the Rapper being something in the future. So I thought that was really cool too. The next song is titled Sex, and once again it kind of goes with Holy Water. Not really crazy about the song, just because I don't know, it's just stretching the limit a little bit too much just for Madonna's age. And she did an interview in Rolling Stone, and it was a really great interview, and she talked about how age shouldn't matter. And I mean, to a certain extent I do agree with that, but I don't know, in this aspect I'm not super crazy about it, and I bet a lot of people would argue that too, but not crazy about it. And the next song, Messiah, very, very cool track. It has a fantastic beat, and it's really, really cool, and I like it a lot. It kind of has a haunting feel to it. I know the whole album just has a very, that's the one thing I will give Madonna on. She does know how to produce a really good album, and so the Messiah is another great example of it. And the last track on the album is Rebel Heart, which I think is extremely fitting because, I mean, it's the title of the album, and it makes sense. And at first I kind of just like glanced over it and didn't really think much of it, but I heard it one night as I was re-listening to the album, and I thought it was very, very good, and it's definitely become one of my favorites off the album. And she's discussing about how she's not going to stop breaking boundaries and doing things for the current state of pop music, and which is commendable, and I think it's really great. So overall, I really do like this album. There are a few sleeper tracks that that just didn't really grab my attention, but then there are tracks like Iconic and Bitch I'm Madonna and Vini Vidi Vici that are just so cool, and I think that everyone should take a listen to. And there's some great slow songs on there, and so Madonna's definitely thinking in the future, but she's also bringing the past into it, which I think is very cool. Not in a throwback way, but it's a very interesting album, and I definitely will be paying a little bit more attention to Madonna now, just because she really is staying relevant, and she is breaking boundaries that a lot of artists aren't doing. So I hope you enjoyed my first video review. It did run a tad long, and hopefully over time I can get it to decrease in time, but I love to talk a lot, and so um, these could be consistently long. Um, I really hope to hear your opinion on what you thought of the album, what you think of this whole new video setup, because I think it's a really cool new way of um, me presenting my reviews. So I would love to hear what you have to say. So go and listen to Rebel Heart, and thanks for tuning in.